Hello and welcome to another edition of Tech Ed. I'm your host Carl Daniels Jr. Today we're going to talk about the AT&T Aspire program. I have here with me today Chase Rickman, who is the retail sales manager for the Newport News store of AT&T. How's it going today?
Going well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So let's get into it. First and foremost, what is the AT&T Aspire program about?
Great question. AT&T Aspire is AT&T's signature philanthropic initiative where we're driving technology and education to classrooms to promote student success and success in careers. We're leveraging technology, relationships, and social innovation to make students' biggest dreams become a reality.
Okay. When you talk about making students' dreams a reality, what are some of the key focuses that the Aspire program wants to focus on?
One of which is mobile learning. So essentially, with technology fundamentally having the potential to alter education as we know it, AT&T is partnering with all schools across the United States to bring technology into the classroom. We're also focusing on initiatives such as Connected Ed to drive in internet connectivity and increase educational resources to all students across the United States.
Okay. And how does this commitment help AT&T as a business, this commitment to education through this program?
As well as regular technology, mobile technologies also have the potential to fundamentally alter education as we know it. And AT&T is poised to help drive that change. By utilizing AT&T's unique resources and building upon the deep connections that we have in education and tech ed, we can enhance teaching strategies, and empower students.
Okay. And in what way will, you kind of made mention of how it can further a student's education. Mm-hmm. What are some other ways that it can help further students' education?
Great. So one of the major goal of the plan is to eliminate academic barriers to success. Mm-hmm. So by doing so, we not only increase the success with students, but we also empower them, therefore building their confidence.
Mm-hmm. And what is a practical way that students you talk about certain areas, can benefit from being a part of this Aspire program?
So with the gap for, let's say, 21st century jobs being outpaced by the current supply, what AT&T has teamed up with Udacity to do is to launch a program called Nano Degree Program. This program is essentially an online educational pathway to industry relevant skills. By doing so, AT&T has now recognized this program for entry-level jobs with AT&T, now rewarding over 100 internships to students within AT&T.
Wow.
Or awarding, excuse me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that sounds like a real good plan to be able to allow the students to get, internships, because that's a very important key going into the workforce.
I agree.
Definitely. We'll have to take a short break, but we'll be right back after these messages. More with Chase Rickman talking about the Aspire program for AT&T. Stay tuned.
I still have a dream. Yeah. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. Yeah. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
You don't have to change just to fit in. You don't have to apologize for who you are. Just be yourself, and I promise people will enjoy it. Just be yourself. Be your real, imperfect, flawed, quirky, weird, beautiful, and magical person you are. Be yourself. Because everyone else is already taken. Just be you.
Serving the community can have a big impact on society. Everyone loves when someone takes time out of their day to spend time, either just hanging out or helping out. There are many different people to serve, from kids to the elderly, the homeless to your next door neighbor. And the best part about serving is that it spreads. So take time to serve someone else, to serve your community, and to do your part.
Hello, and welcome back to Tech Ed. Today we're talking about the AT&T Aspire program. I'm here with Chase Rickman, Retail Sales Manager for the Newport News store of AT&T. So we talked a little bit about what the Aspire program was, how it's a benefit to students. AT&T has a nano degree program. What's AT&T's role as far as that nano degree program?
So AT&T has partnered with Udacity to launch the Nano Degree program. Now, the program is based off current hiring and training needs. So essentially, by partnering with Udacity, AT&T hopes now to continue to partner with other tech companies and to increase the depth of the tech pipeline for 21st century jobs.
Okay. So I noticed you talked a little bit about it going into the 21st century jobs. What is part of the content of the nano degree program? Is that part of the content, or is there some other aspects to it
No,
as well?
that is definitely a part of the program. So the program focuses on industry-relevant software skills, which include web and mobile development, data analytics, and machine learning.
What is the status of the nano degree program?
Currently, more than 11,000 students have enrolled in the program. 3,000 of those students now coming from AT&T. Also, at this point, more than 3,000 credentials have been given, more than 300 of those coming from AT&T employees.
Oh, wow. So when you talk about those credentials, is that kind of like in high school programs, you know, how they can get credentials to be certified? Is that kind of along those lines when you talk about credentials?
Exactly along those lines. So essentially, AT&T's goal is to increase the amount of Americans who have high-quality post-secondary degrees and or these credentials that we mentioned. So definitely.
Okay. For a person that doesn't understand how the nano degree works, could you explain a little bit about how this nano degree would work for them specifically?
Definitely. And we'll just go over a couple of things. So essentially, students will have to have an understanding of high school level mathematics. In addition to that, students must be willing to undergo a diagnosis and interviews just to ensure that they're learning at the right level. Also, we want to determine that their educational goals align with the program.
Okay. And earlier you talked about how if they have these credentials, many of them work for AT&T. Would that necessarily be something that an employee would have to work at AT&T, or that really would not matter necessarily?
Definitely not. There's not it's not required. Long story short, it's not required. However, those who have matriculated throughout the program, they are given strong consideration with jobs that they do qualify for.
Okay. And how can a person apply? If they see Aspire program, they see nano degree, how can a person apply for it if they feel like this would benefit them to further their education?
Great question. Very simple. Udacity.com. That will allow you to gain further information and also determine companies that are offering scholarships that you may be able to apply for.
Okay. And when you talk about the companies, are there any specific schools that students have to go to complete the program, or it really doesn't matter?
Does not matter.
Okay.
So it's open.
Okay. All right. Well, we'd like to thank you, Chase, for being here with us and telling us about the Aspire program and nano degrees and Udacity.com. I'm sure it's going to be quite a benefit to a lot of students out there that are looking for money to further their education and programs that will help them further their education. We also would like to thank you all for joining us today for this edition of Tech Ed. I'm Carl Daniels Jr., your host, saying see you next time and take care.